Hey everyone, my name is Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight on Live with Prima, and I want to share a plaque that I made for CHA. That's why I actually have the photo of it. I don't actually have the plaque in my hand. It is in Chino, California at the moment, but they'll ship it back soon, and it's really a bad copy because in this background, this is one of the carte blanche plaques that Prima made, and I've done a photo transfer on the background that is not showing up in my copy. So what I want to show you first is how I did the photo transfer onto the wood plaque, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've done ahead, and I'm going to show it to you on a smaller scale, but you can see, if we don't go too blurry, you can kind of see how I've transferred this photo onto the actual wood plaque. And you can see this is the wood plaque. I've used the front side, and it's got the little rope here. It's going to be, I guess it's going to be going in and out as far as my focus, so because I'm dealing with white, but you can see it's kind of a grainy look when you put it on the wood, because you can actually see the wood grain sort of showing up through the photo, which I really love. I really like the way that this looks in person, the way that it turned out. The first one is of my son and his wife, and this one is my daughter and her fiance. We are having a wedding this year. They are getting married in July. So y'all are going to be seeing lots of wedding stuff, I think, because I am in full-blown wedding mode. So everything I'm making, I'm going to have to be able to use at the wedding. I am that busy. So I hope y'all kind of like what's coming up. We'll see. But anyway, I don't have announcements. Not sure exactly who is on Tuesday. Everybody's just returning from CHA. It's just kind of a crazy time right this minute, but it will be on Facebook. I'm sure it will be announced on Facebook, and y'all will all know soon enough. So it'll just be a surprise for you as to who will be there on Tuesday. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to show you how to do this photo transfer. I'm going to do it on this small block. Right now, the large block that I used is number 583040, and that one measures, let's see if it tells me, it's like 11 by something. Anyway, I'll measure it in just a minute. I'll grab my ruler, but this one is more like a 5 by 7 size, and I wanted to do the demonstration on this one because it's a little bit smaller and a little bit more controlled. So I've actually printed another photo. First thing I wanted to do is share with you how I kind of decided on photos. I needed like some substance to the picture. I needed some of their body kind of away from their face that I could add my flowers, and so that's why I've kind of chosen the photos that I've chosen. And you can see on these two prints here, they're kind of going in the opposite direction. And I just wanted to share with you, if you've not heard of it, I use a site called PicMonkey, P-I-C. Okay, we are cutting in and out, meaning my voice is cutting in and out. I don't know what we are cutting in and out means, Robbie. The sound is cutting in and out, or the actual camera. Okay, what is it saying? Okay, never mind. It's good for Tiffany. Okay, I have no idea what y'all are talking about, but anyway, if there's more problem, just please let me know. But what I wanted to tell you is that I use a site called PicMonkey. It is a free site unless you do a lot of the upgrades that they have. This particular thing that I'm doing, you can do on PicMonkey for absolutely free. I go in there and load my photos, and I can actually change the color black and white. I can make that black and white a gray black and white, a brown black and white. I love PicMonkey. So you might want to try it out. I do pay the extra for the extra details you get for the site. But what I did here is I actually swapped the photo, because what's going to happen if you photographed, which actually this was the first photograph, if you your photograph looks with the, like with Haley to the left and the baby to the right, when you do your photo transfer, it's going to be on the opposite. Haley's going to be on the left, and Haley's going to be on the right, and Aaliyah's going to be on the left. So you can kind of see how that changes that up. I don't like that version. I still want the taller person on the right in this particular photo. So I went into PicMonkey, and it has a little rotate section. I just rotated the photo, which swapped Haley to the right and Aaliyah to the left. So what happens when I lay it down for the photo transfer, I've got it where I want it. Haley's on the left and Aaliyah's on the right. And it's just a visual thing for me. It may mean nothing to you and it may not bother you, but it does me. I kind of want it to go the way I planned for my photo. So what I'm going to do is just really quick with my little scissors here, just kind of cut this out. Doesn't have to be real straight. Just get it as good as you can. You could use your trimmer if you wanted, if you want to do a little closer job. That would be totally okay, but I'm just doing this quick for time's sakes. I want to show you as much of this process as I can. It's a really easy process, and you can do the same thing. You know, you can photo transfer or image transfer onto paper or fabric or anything like that. And I failed to mention to you, this is just a piece of standard lightweight printer paper. You'll want to do an actual print from your computer. You don't want to use a real photo on this. It needs to be the actual lightweight printer paper with the jet ink, so that this actually transfers for you. A regular photo will not work in this process. So you can kind of see I've got a little bit of background around. Yes, it is an inkjet printer that I use. Definitely inkjet printer. And just regular photo paper. And also you want to, and in PicMonkey you can do this, or if you use Photoshop or whatever you use, you'll want to add a little contrast. You'll want the photo just a little bit darker, because you can see in the actual image transfer it comes out pretty light. So you'll want your photo to be pretty dark, and you'll want to add just a little bit of contrast to it, so that you've got some definition in your, in your eyes and hair and, fingers and stuff like that, so that it just shows up really good when you do the transfer. You can always practice this on an old piece of paper or something to kind of see what you're going to get. But because of the wood, you are going to get the grain coming through, and that's going to give you a little bit lighter image transfer. So the way you do this is just take your soft matte gel. That is number, if I can find it. Where is the number on this? Oh, soft matte gel is number 961428. You could use gloss gel. I'm using the matte gel. I like everything pretty matte. So you just want to open up your gloss gel, or your matte gel. I'm sorry, now I'm saying gloss gel. Kind of open up your matte gel, lay your lid to the side. And you want to be pretty generous with the amount of gel that you put down onto your wood. You want to get it down into the grooves of the, so I just kind of add some here, and then I can take off what I don't really need. But you've got some grooves down in your grain here, and you want to really saturate the wood. It's okay if it goes over the edge. You can wipe that off when you get your photo down. That's the same question. Sorry, I need to turn my phone on vibrate. It's going to keep beeping in y'all's ear. But just do a pretty generous covering, getting it all down in the grooves, because you want to really saturate that photo when it's pressed down. So just be sure to generously apply. And then what I'm going to do is go back with a paper towel, just so I don't get this all over my hands, because you don't want to transfer this to the front of your image once you've laid it down. You only want it on the underside of your image. So we'll just kind of wipe that excess off so we don't have a mess. And then you could actually add a quick layer to your photo as well. You don't want to do this. You don't want to keep wiping this on here because you could smear your ink. So I just did a quick layer there just so we're making sure this is saturated really well. I hope y'all are not like fading in and out. Get this right about where you want it. You're going to kind of have one chance to get it down. You don't want to shift it once you get it there. And then just kind of pat it into place. You don't want to get a lot of the gel on this side of the photo because the paper will not rub off for you if you get it there. So just kind of lay that down. And because my photo is not fitting the entire perimeter of the board here, I'm going to take my little rag here and just wipe off the excess on the edge so that I don't transfer this to the outside of this paper. You want to leave this just paper because we're going to spray this with water to remove the paper backing to actually leave our image there. So I just kind of press this into place, just using the whole palm of my hand. That's why you want to get rid of this excess glue because your hand's going to be kind of all over. Just press that down. If you have little bubbles, just sort of press until you get the bubbles out. Sometimes it takes just a minute. My images are not always perfect. Sometimes I have a little bit that rubs off, or for whatever reason that doesn't really bother me. So if you don't get a perfect image, don't be upset. Just continue to kind of press it down. Be sure that you've got it in there. You could take a brayer and run across it. You just want to be sure not to transfer your glue. If any glue seeps out or any of the matte gel seeps out, you don't want to transfer that onto the top of this paper here. Can't stress that enough. Don't get any of the gel on top of the paper because it will seal it and it won't rub off. So you can see your image is kind of coming through. You can kind of see that. Okay, normally what I would do is just take this, lay it aside, and deal with it tomorrow. But for time's sakes, and I kind of want to show you, I'm going to go ahead and take the heat tool to this. But just remember, you really don't want to always use the heat tool. If you get it too hot, it could bubble up. I'm going to be careful not to do that. But it's just a better process to just let it air dry all night, or maybe put it in front of a fan for a little bit longer time, because you kind of get one chance at this. Then I'm just going to, just for a minute, sorry about the heat, and I'm just going to continuously move this. I'm not going to leave it in one spot for long. I'm going to continuously move it, sort of pressing it as I go. It's easier with this small one. It's a little bit more difficult when you've got the larger one. So if you do decide to do a small one, this is a 5x7 photo that I have here. So if you do decide to do the small one, the 5x7 works well. And I'm just continuing to press, making sure that this does not bubble up and pull away from the board. I need this to stay on the board. I thought this was a sweet photo of my daughter-in-law and my sweet grandbaby. She was probably about 9 months old. I did her photos every month until she was 1, and I think this was the 9-month photo shoot. Okay, I'm trying to read as I'm kind of drying this, but it's hard. Yeah, who's that? This would be a good project to use the cool section on the blow dryer. Definitely, Deb. It would be. It would take a little longer, but cooler would definitely be better because the heat can bubble it if you hold it in one spot too long. But you can see I'm just kind of pressing and keeping my hand between the photo and the heat so I can kind of gauge how hot it's going to get. I may have a suntan hand by the time I'm done. This is pretty warm, but it's working for me. So you can see the image coming through really good. I can tell that it's really starting to dry. The drier it gets, the more heat it will stand, but I still don't want to give it a lot of heat. So sorry, this is taking a minute. Hey Barbara. Oh y'all, I got to meet Barbara in person. Oh my gosh, and we forgot to take a picture. I was so tired and she was so sweet. We got to have dinner and she bought my dinner. She is the sweetest person ever. I enjoyed it so much. It was so fun to get to meet from just kind of seeing online. I wish we could all meet. It would be so fun. I'm just still working on this, y'all. It's going to take just a minute. Sorry about that. This is a little bit more, it's a pretty simple project once you get past this step, but because I haven't really added a lot in the way of embellishments. I kept it pretty simple, but my daughter-in-law loves the one that I sent to CHA, so I decided to make her a few more and see if we can't get her a little collage together for her house. They just bought a new house, so I thought it would be kind of nice to do a few in a few sizes. Okay, I think we are pretty dry. It feels pretty dry. Just going to kind of test it. Yeah, it's not coming up, so what I want to do is let it just cool off for just a minute. I don't want to spray the water until it's nice and cool because the board's pretty warmed up right now. It would even be really cool. It'd be a little bit harder, but it would be really cool to even do the transfer on the back side, kind of down inside here. I haven't done that yet, but I might do that since I'm thinking of doing sort of a wall collage with these. I might try that because I think it would be cool. It would be, you know, it'd be hard in those corners, but you could always add something to those corners to kind of disguise if it didn't rub off all the way to the corners. I'm just pressing to be sure it's nice and cool. Okay, next step is you're going to need some kind of a towel or a sponge or a bunch of paper towels. I've kind of got this old hand towel. Let's put our electricity out of the way because we're going to spray water. I don't want to electrocute myself. So what we're going to do is just spray a coat of water all over and then just kind of pat it down and let it soak in. Look at that image coming through. It's so exciting. I love this. Love doing this because I love seeing the image come through. It's kind of, yeah, it kind of made me squeal. I love it when it starts. It's gonna work. So what I do is just start kind of rubbing just a little bit. Just kind of, don't rub real hard at first because you'll rub your entire image off. So just a little bit. I'm just going to kind of rub with my fingers, and you can you kind of see it's rolling up? The paper's kind of rolling off. Just rub, rub, rub. You're going to turn your fingers a little kind of blue or gray from the ink. And I have actually used a brown. I turned these black and white on PicMonkey, and then I went in and gave them kind of a brown cast as well. So this is going to be kind of a golden color when it's done. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to be kind of golden. So you can see as it rubs away, it turns kind of golden. And I'm just rubbing, rubbing, rubbing. This is a huge part of this. Just rub and rub and rub until you can get it all off. And I'm not going to do this to completion. Just kind of going to show you how the process starts. You get that started, and then you want to just remove, dry it off just a bit with your towel. Kind of remove your little papers, and you're just doing kind of a layer at a time. Again, you're just going to rub, rub, rub. And you are going to continue this process until you feel a smooth surface and you see your image pretty clearly. So we are going to just kind of lay this to the side. That's all there is to that. You just keep rubbing until you've brought your entire image kind of through, and you can kind of see how that's going to sort of turn out there. So hope that was enough explanation on that so that y'all can do it. It's really the most time consuming part of this, but it's very, very easy. You just continue to rub, rub, rub with your fingers, and add a little more water, rub a little more, just let it soak in, and use your towel to kind of dry and remove your excess paper, and that is it. That's the process. So once you've completed that, let's get our mess cleaned up a little bit right here. You will have a ton of these little paper scraps. Get that all cleaned up, and what you are going to be left with is this. And you can see it's kind of light. It's a little bit darker than what it's showing up on camera here, but you can see what you've got here is this really pretty background image, and I love it. I really like this process. So the next thing that I did, again, PicMonkey, and I just can't express enough how much I love PicMonkey. You can do these little they remind me of the little photo booth pictures in their collage section there. That's how I created these, and I wanted one just a little bit bigger than the other, and I'm actually just going to use my scissors. I can kind of eyeball this. You definitely can use your trimmer. I just didn't want to have my trimmer out in the way, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball about 1/8 of an inch to the outside of these photos, because I want them to appear to be the little photo booth photos. So I'm just going to cut them out just like this. And I did 2 of them because I'm actually going to stack them one on top of the other. And I may wish I had grabbed my trimmer by the time I'm done. My cuts may not be that straight, but for this project it's really okay for them not to. They don't really have to be that precise. So let's go in and do this one. I did this one just a little bit smaller, but PicMonkey allowed me to kind of change the size. I don't know if I've ever mentioned using PicMonkey to y'all, but I love it. I use it for all my photos. I still use Photoshop. It does not replace Photoshop, but I use it for so many other things as well. So many one-step processes in my photos I solve with PicMonkey. So, and they have great customer service too. If you ever have a problem, you can contact them and they will help you, and they're very fast to respond. So I promote them because I like them. Okay, I'm going to trim this one down just a little bit more. I don't want it quite so tall, since we've got white above Sterling's head. And again, this is going to be my son-in-law very soon, and we love him. He is a sweetie. He is definitely a sweetie. We are blessed to have him join our family. My daughter did a good job. Okay, so now we have this, have our photos ready, have our background ready, and what I used is Frank Garcia's new collection, Tales of You and Me, and it's about them, so of course it's Tales of You and Me. And I'm just going to grab a couple of papers, try to remember what I used. I know I want this darker paper here. Grab this one. And you don't have to use the same one. Well, in fact, I think I'm going to grab this one. Yeah, maybe I'll use these two because I want that one, and then maybe we'll use this side. We're just going to use 2 pieces to just kind of layer behind. And again, what I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball this with my scissors. This may be affecting some of you, so you are definitely welcome to use your trimmers. That's going to kind of fly over there. Okay, and then I'm just going to sort of eyeball where I want this. Let's do this right about here. Let's see how straight I can get this. I think I did pretty good, actually. So let's layer that kind of back there. Just want a little bit of color behind these photos. And then let's just grab this one, and I'll just kind of eyeball it. Use my first one sort of as a guide. Get that out of my way. Trim off our little selvage top. And I know that's not selvage, but I'm so used to using fabric, I call all those label edges selvage. It is just a habit. Okay, so we kind of want these. I'm going to trim a little bit more off this. That's a little much. And I'll give you a measurement on these really quick, so you'll kind of know about what I did. My photos measure approximately 2 inches by 6 inches, and the smaller one being about 1 3/4 by 5.5. And then these layered papers, which you can see just kind of layer about a 1/2 inch bigger. We've got 2 3/4 by 6 and 3 1/4 by 6. So what I'm going to do is grab some ink. I have to ink up these edges, and I'm just using a dark brown ink. This is Dark Bark. So just ink up those edges really good. Really, really good. Oh, there it went. Does that sometimes happen to y'all? I kind of roughed it up. I kind of think I did that on, I think I kind of pulled it away. Uh-oh. Let me grab another one. Okay, this one is also, well, that's not Dark Bark, but doesn't really matter. This one is Rusty Bucket. I just want a darker ink. This might be a little bit lighter, but that's okay. Just needs to be kind of brown. Oh, and I kind of like that Rusty Bucket because it sort of has that feel of the kid's picture there. So I'm going to add a little bit of that to this one as well. I do like that. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab a piece of cardboard. Sorry, I have to stand up for a minute to grab a piece of cardboard because I want, of course, I want to add cardboard. So let's see where. I need to tear my cardboard to make it a little bit smaller. Probably just going to add a few small pieces underneath. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab my glue. I'm using Fabri-Tac for this. You can use glue of your choice. Fabri-Tac seems to always be my choice, no matter what I'm doing. I love Fabri-Tac. So my computer keeps going to sleep. So we're going to add, seems to waste back here to waste this paper because I want to fussy cut these flowers badly. I love the fussy cutting elements in these papers that Frank designed. If you haven't seen this collection yet, it is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So just going to kind of lay our photos down. I'm going to lay the bigger one in the back. And it just appealed to me to kind of have two of these, one bigger and one smaller, to kind of layer together here. Just gave it a little bit more interest. So we got that. This doesn't seem to be even. Let me kind of move that up. Okay, about like that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, oh, did I give you the number of that paper pad? Let me see. The number of this paper pad is 584399. And that is Frank Garcia's beautiful Tales of You and Me collection. Okay, I'm going to have to kind of put this right about here because I want to be able to see their faces still. So I'm going to kind of put this kind of over to one side. Next, I'm going to use these beautiful gold doilies, number 585006. I really do like these doilies. I'm going to cut these in half. And I'm just going to layer these. One here, kind of under the photos. And then there's some glue already under there, so I don't need to add more glue. And then one kind of between the two layers of paper. And there's, like I said, it's going to catch that glue. And if it doesn't catch the glue, you may want to add a little more. But I added enough glue under there that it's going to actually catch. It's going to actually catch the glue. So add those right about there. And then I want to cut apart one more. Love the gold in these. I'm going to add a little glue because I'm going to add this all the way under all the layers here. So let's add this right about here. And I like adding it under layers and between layers. It sort of gives you a little more interest. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little glue here to be sure I can get it between the layers here. Just get that right in there. Okay, let's slide this up so we don't see our edge. I want to kind of see that coming out, but kind of the round part kind of coming out. So you can see that's going together about right there. And I want to have this kind of off to the left just a little bit. Not too far off to the left, but just a little bit off. Next, I'm going to use this flower, and this is a really cool flower. This is number, it's called Sylvan Espen 580957. And these were released a couple of CHAs ago, but I know that Prima still has a lot of these in stock. I love them. They're burlap, and they have this twined little bead here with the nice gold pieces. And what I'm going to do is just kind of layer this, just kind of manipulate it. Let's go ahead and glue this down. Glue is stringing everywhere. Let's kind of tilt this. I don't want this to cover Sterling's face. Right about there. And then I'm just going to manipulate the flower. We're going to have to move this over. I'm going to manipulate the leaves, and I'm going to floof the flower because I don't want it covering them. I kind of just want it to the side. And so this flower is very, very bendable, and I'm going to see how I did it. Oh, I think I did it the other way. Let's do the leaf this way. And this leaf down. This leaf will bend just anyway, so let's do it like that. That way we are not covering the kids. Bend our stem back. It looks all wonky doing it that way, but when you lay it down, it looks like it's just made to be there. Like that. So that's what we're going to go with. Just about like that. Let's make sure we're not covering up Sterling's little face. Just about there. So I'm going to add a little glue. Little glue, and I'm stringing this glue everywhere again. A little glue right here. Make sure we can see Sterling's little head. Right about there. And I'll just keep manipulating this until I get it the way I want it, and you can do the same thing. And then once you get it where you want it, you can add a little bit more glue to kind of hold it into place so that you're not disturbing your picture. Kind of move your little vines around, and anyway, just kind of get it like you like it. I kind of like it about like that. Next thing I'm going to add is this little Tales of You and Me word phrase. It's a wood icon from Frank's Tales of You and Me collection. 583798 is the number. And you can see you get this little phrase, a little bingo, a little pretty little girl. It's like a little cameo, a little envelope. This little looks like a little teacup, like a little Chinese or something teacup. And then this beautiful little butterfly. But all we're going to use is this title. Save all these other pieces for another project. And we're going to add our title right across our flower. I'm going to add glue just kind of to this left side. My glue is stringy. Oh, this glue is terribly stringy. I don't like when Fabri-Tac likes to thicken up, and I need to add some acetone to it, I guess, because it's very thick. And when it's thick, it kind of oozes out the top, and it annoys me. Okay, so we're going to add our little title right there. And once that dries good, you can kind of go in and flatten everything out. Right now, it appears to be kind of sticking up in the air. In fact, I may add a little piece of cardboard. Cardboard is the master of fixing. So just a little piece of cardboard, put glue on both sides, and I'm going to tuck it just under my flower. Add a little more glue to my icon and stick it right down to that piece of cardboard. May even need 2 layers since that flower is kind of poofy. Let's add 2 layers of cardboard under there. Cardboard is cheap. You can add all you want. I never run out of cardboard. Okay, and hold it just a second in place. Kind of want to manipulate my flower just a little bit more in place. Just about like that. And you can kind of wind your stem. I'm going to kind of flip it to the other direction. Just kind of play with it till you get it like you like it. I kind of like it better in that direction. So just about like that. And I'll go back in once this dries, and I can clip, if I can see that cardboard, I can just take my little scissors and just clip the pieces that are showing out. So you can see that's what we've got right there. Next thing I want to do is add, I've got some Hug Snug seam binding, and I'm also going to use some Dresden trim. What time do we have? Oh, we got time. We're doing good on time. So let's kind of get everything moved over and out of the way here. First thing I'm going to do is take my trim. I want to have a bow kind of up here at the top. So I'm going to take my trim. Y'all know I'm going to take off a chunk of it. Grab my, oh, sorry, I hit the camera. Grab my fabric scissors so I can cut my ribbon. And I'm just going to take a bunch of this. I'm going to put it in this Ziploc baggie. And I'm going to take some Empress Gold Bloom Spray, number 580315. And I'm going to spray some bloom spray into the bag. Just give it some pretty liberal sprays. And just squish your ribbon. Add a few more. Don't think that was enough. Okay. And this is a way that you don't waste, and you don't have a lot of overspray and all that from spraying your ribbons. You can do all your ribbons and trims and flowers and everything kind of in these little baggies, and that sort of helps you not make such a mess. Okay, so this is pretty wet, so I'm going to lay it to the side for just a minute, and then I'm going to come back with the dryer. But while we do this other step, I'm going to put a paper towel kind of on that for it to lay on and dab it just a little bit, but I'm going to dry that with the dryer in just a minute. So finished with the seam binding, finished with the ink for now. Let's grab a paper towel. Had a little bit of, I think that came off my fingers actually when I took it out of the bag. Move our baggie out of the way. Try to keep a mess from forming here. Okay, so now I want to take the Dresden trim, and this is number 942465. And oh, I got it. You know what? I actually dripped it on my board. Well, I tried to prevent the mess, and then I went dripping it everywhere when I was moving it. So anyway, that's pretty easily cleaned up. So now we're going to take our Dresden trim. This stuff works for so many things. You see it just kind of pulls apart. I know lots of people have used this. Just pull it apart, and we are going to add it all around the sides here, just like this. So what I'm going to do is just add some glue down my side here. Very, very easy to add this. I'm going to just kind of cut off that right there and just save that one point right there. Just kind of lay this down. And what I'm doing is kind of disguising where the photo does not go to the edge. Just about like that. Then you just want to kind of clip this off right here. Just like that. And then you've got enough from one of these strips to kind of go across the bottom. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and do my other side first. So let's go ahead and add a little glue to this side. Am I working in the camera? I've got the camera to the left of me tonight. It's not in front of me, so I feel like I'm not able to see it. And I hope y'all can still hear me well. I'm sure Robbie would have contacted me if there was a problem. So, and thank you, Robbie, for modding for me tonight. Robbie is my friend. Best friends or scrappy friends, I've decided. Best kinds of friends to have. Okay, lay this down. This stuff is easy and quick to use. You can use a couple of layers of this if you want. With this one, I'm just going to go around with one layer. But you could use it the way that it comes off in a double layer like here, like it is here. You could leave those connected and do a full layer like that if you like. But for this particular one, I'm just going to use it as is. So now what I want to do is put a little glue at the bottom. Let's move up so y'all can see. A little more glue. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of clip this so that I've got an entire point, and then I'm going to just kind of cut at a diagonal and almost give it a mitered feel here on these corners. I don't know if you can see that so much in the, well, I'm going to run off the edge here, so I'm not going to be able to do it on this end, but it's going to meet really nicely down here at this end. I actually like the way it's meeting down here. So just kind of lay that down like that. Move our little clippings off. Gonna do the same thing on this one. I'm going to just kind of clip that kind of at a diagonal. Just kind of miter that down. It's going to lay like that. So we're going to add a little glue across the top here. And you could use a tape runner for this or whatever. Fabri-Tac is my go-to glue, I guess, for everything. I know it's going to hold, especially things that go to CHA. You put Fabri-Tac on there and it is there to stay. Do not have to worry. Okay, that's going to be just about like that. Okay, the next thing that I want to add, see how we're doing on time. We are still good on time. The next thing I want to add are just a few little extra embellishments, just for some interest. I used a little metal, I don't know what they're called. I don't have the package anymore, but I used little metal circles originally. You can kind of see them here in the photo. I don't have any more of these, so I thought these would be really cute. This is from Frank's Memory Hardware, number 990350. And just want to grab out a few of those. And I want to use kind of the round pieces here, just maybe a couple up here. And then maybe one right here. Or maybe we could add a brad right there. Let me see if I have a brad. I think I might like something a little more round there. Let me grab. I'm going to have to reach over my table here to grab what I need. Okay, I'm going to have to go over here. So y'all bear with me 1 minute. Okay, I want to use these, I think. Let's use these instead of these. I think I like the idea of 579401. This is what you call creating on the fly here for real. But these kind of have a golden color, and I think they'll look really pretty. These are from Timeless Memories. And let's move you. And I think I want to use, let's get this glue off our scissors. I think I want to use like this darker one right here. Placed right about there. Like that. And then let's make sure you pick your sticky up with it. Well, that's not, the sticky's not going to come up with that, so I'm just going to add a little Fabri-Tac. Add that right about there. Then let's add, let's see, what else do I want to add? Add one more of those right about there. And then let's add a small one. So I'm going to use all the same color, but let's add a small one. Kind of graduate that size down right there just a little bit. Okay, we've got that for just a little bit of added interest. So the last thing we need to do, I just want to make sure, not the last thing because we're going to ink in just a minute. I want to dry my little seam binding here. And you can dry this seam binding really fast. Does not take long at all, even when it's saturated. Dries really quickly. Dry, dry, dry. Okay, that is dry enough. So what I'm going to do now is grab my ink, and I am using Distress ink. I've kind of got stuff stuck all to me. Distress ink, Tim Holtz Distress ink. Vintage Photo, and I'm using his little round applicator. Just ink that up really good. Just soak that on there really, really good. And I'm just going to run it right along the edge of my Dresden trim. You just want to really soak. This is a new sponge, so I'm really soaking that in. And since this trim is sort of raised up off the page, you should, if you're careful, you should be able to ink it without the ink transferring onto your plaque. And if it happens to transfer a little bit on the plaque, totally good with that. That doesn't bother me. Just want that darker color on that Dresden trim. If you want to do this ahead, you could color this ahead, but you see I'm just adding a little bit, and in person it makes a huge difference. You still keep that gold hue from underneath, but it just darkens it enough that it matches your doilies and your flower center, and it just sort of brings everything together. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of run the applicator down the sides, because you want those sides inked as well. Just run that applicator down all the sides like so, just pretty quickly. No fuss, no muss here, just fast, so you can see I am not taking very much time with that. Okay, that's that. And the last thing I want to do is just take this is probably about a yard of seam binding, so I want to just kind of fold it in half, just sort of fold that in half, and then from there I want to tie a bow. Just tie like just 2 loops and kind of tie a knot. I want this kind of big. I don't want it real small. I want it kind of big. Kind of big loops there. About like that. You kind of see I want it kind of floppy up there. And then what I'm going to do is go in again and tie this again, and I'm just kind of making 2 loops and then tying a knot in that, just to make kind of a messy little double bow action there, so you can kind of see that's really pretty messy, and that's exactly what I want. So what I'm going to do is just kind of separate it from my little tails, and I'm going to add a little glue to the top, just about here, about 1.5 inches away from the edge. Lay your knot down like so. Just kind of lay that down and let that just kind of fall around there. You just want it really messy. And then I'm going to trim these tails. Kind of trim them in a little bit of a diagonal like so. Just about like that. And then if you want to, my seam binding is still a little wet, but when it dries good, what I will do is I will go back in and kind of bunch it up in a few places and deliberately add a little glue here and there. Like here I would add a little bit. We're really stringy, to kind of leave that bow right there so that you can kind of decide where you want it. So I won't do the whole thing because it is still a little bit wet, but that is our project. That is our total project. So hope you can kind of see in the background the photo of the kids, and I think my daughter's really going to like this too, so it'll be a nice gift for her, and gave this purpose. And when my other one comes back from CHA, I'll give that one to my daughter-in-law. But that is it. That we are done with this project, and I am done 5 whole minutes early. So thank y'all for joining me, and I think I will actually be back next week, next Thursday. I am planning a planner. I'm planning to teach a planner that I'm working on. It's a mixed media album covered planner. So anyway, hope to see y'all then, and Be sure and tune in on Tuesday. I'm sure we'll have a fabulous show. Just not real sure who that is right at the moment. But anyway, thank you so much, Robbie, for modding me. And again, everybody for joining me. And I hope you enjoyed this project. Y'all have a great night. Thanks again.